What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm reading some Reddit stories. This video is going to be 1 hour of disturbing Reddit stories. These were all from r/Nosleep, which is a great subreddit, so yeah. This video is great to chill to, study to, whatever, sleep to. Guys, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. It would mean so much to me personally. While you're down there, follow my Instagram. I'm pretty active on there, and join my Discord server. We have a lot of fun in there. But yeah, should be everything. Let's get straight into these stories. Oh, wait, me and Snook have a podcast now where we read scary stories together and talk about them. Go ahead and subscribe to that on YouTube and Spotify. And now straight into the first story. My father is a park ranger. He took me with him on the night shift. I should have listened to his rules. This is how the human mind works. When you're walking through a forest, you don't think too much. You just let the silence surround you, feel the soft breeze and the branches crack under your feet. It's in our nature to yearn for such scenery. No matter how much we thrive in busy, concrete-soaked cities, forests are always welcoming and refreshing to us. The air is clear and crisp, and daylight plays hide-and-seek through the tall branches. It's inspiring and beautiful. Sometimes, though, as you walk on your path, your mind begins to focus on small things. Noises, gusts of wind, shadows in the trees. Such silence can be both welcoming and unsettling. Depends on how you view it. Forests are double-sided coins. They hide you away from the tiring city landscape, but expose you to another environment. You're not in control anymore, because this is not your home. You can lie to yourself and build a house there, but you don't belong in a forest. You're merely a visitor. That's national parks for you. An illusion of being in control. The fake freedom you feel when you walk on those marked paths and camp in the square assigned to you. When you think the silence around you is peaceful, but even the silence is an illusion. Visit a forest again. Even when it's silent, is it really? It's not. Complete, absolute silence means death. Fear it. My father taught me that. He's a park ranger, and he's been doing this job since forever. I wasn't much of a fan of national parks, especially because most of the time there's no service and the hikes are killing me. I'd rather enjoy nature by swimming in a lake or skiing. Why break your legs to end up at a high point just to see a random valley? Not to mention the animals. They were everywhere, and the insects always got on my nerves. I never understood his love for the forest. I guess that was one of the reasons why he started telling me scary stories from his night shift. Looking back, they were obviously made up, but to younger me, they seemed believable. I used to think he was so brave for working the night shift. As I got older, I got into horror, and even if I didn't believe in the forest creatures anymore, I still liked the idea of spending the night in a small cabin in the middle of nowhere, just for that dose of adrenaline. When my father said he wanted to take me with him, I accepted immediately. I knew why he offered. See, over the past few years, our relationship had taken a big hit. I guess I was growing up and he didn't know how to handle that. He'd become emotionally distant and seemed to repel any of my tries to open up to him. In return, I'd become uninterested and irritable. In the words of my mother, this would be a fun way to bond, I guess. We arrived at the park at around 9 p.m. His shift started at 10 p.m. and ended at 6 a.m. His Jeep pierced through the darkness and ventured into the woods. The headlights flashed the trees, turning them white against the black sky. I'd never been on this route, but again, my visits to the park were rare. We drove for a while. Most of the time, people underestimate the size of national parks. It took us an hour and a half to get to the cabin, which wasn't even in the heart of the forest. I saw it, one single trace of humanity in the middle of nowhere. A tiny wooden cabin with flickering light bulbs and watchdogs. Before we got out of the car, my father stopped me. Listen, there's some instructions you need to follow here. I know it might seem unimportant, but they're crucial. Then he handed me a piece of paper, a list of handwritten rules. At first, they were ordinary. Don't go out alone in the park, don't leave food out, etc. I thought the rest of the rules had been put there just to freak me out. Dad, I'm not 12 anymore. You can't freak me out with this shit. I'm not trying to. You wanted to come here with me, so act accordingly. What even is this? If you see a man without an arm, don't help him. We have all kinds of weirdos around here. And this? If the whistling is near you, it means they're far. My father smiled, but his eyes didn't. Some of these are added by superstitious fellas. It's more of a what if. It's not gonna happen to you. Rule 1. Don't go out alone in the park. Always have a working contact device. Rule 2. Don't leave marked paths unless instructed to and or with proper equipment. Rule 3. Don't leave food out and lock the trash bins. Rule 4. Always keep on the whistle and the badge. Rule 5. If you see a man without an arm, don't help him. Rule 6. Your family is not in here. Remember, there's no reason for you to hear their voices from outside. Rule 7. Lock your car doors, even when you're driving. Rule 8. Check the marks on the trees. There are only 3 kinds of marks, all triangles: red, yellow, and green. Other marks are not ours. Do not follow them. Rule number 9. If the whistling is near you, it means they're far. If it's far away, it means they're near. Rule 10. Beware of dead blue. What's dead blue? I asked. My father sighed. You know when you're out in the woods, when you think what you hear is silence, but you realize there's dozens of sounds around you, from birds to crickets to leaves rustling? Yeah, that's because there's no such thing as silence. Absolute silence. Never. There's always sound, movement, life. Dead blue is complete and utter silence. That's our, code name for it. Death-inducing silence. Unnatural. Right, and when that happens, it won't. But what if it does? He paused, staring at the steering wheel. Then his head turned to me. His eyes darted from mine to the window behind me. You leave. That being said, he got out of the car and I followed. The cabin was dusty and cramped. I couldn't understand how he could spend 8 hours in here. He had a small TV, but it wasn't working. A desk and a mini fridge. You sit here all alone? I asked. Yeah. Why, that freak you out? Don't you get bored? Martin's post is 10 minutes away. Sometimes I just drive over. Nothing really happens out here anyway. My spot is pretty far from the campsites. I just have to patrol from time to time and make sure no one wanders off into the night. But that rarely happens. This is one of the wilder areas, less explored. You haven't explored it all? His eyes sparkled. Wouldn't be possible. So you don't know what's out there. That's the fun of it. You said you wanted adrenaline. There you go. I nodded. He opened the mini fridge and threw me some juice. Orange juice. I'd mentioned I'd liked this brand once, and he'd remembered. Maybe our relationship wasn't so bad. We sat next to each other in the small cabin. Dad locked it. I'm not gonna lie to you, most of the time, I just sleep. Literally nothing ever happens. So you really didn't see any creatures out there like the ones you told me about when I was little? I jokingly asked. The only creature out there is my manager, and I'd rather face a million cryptids than talk to him. I laughed. I leaned in to look out the windows. I can't see anything, just my reflection. Want me to dim down the light? Yeah, he did, and darkness crept inside the tiny cabin. The woods became more prominent, more vivid. The light made by the moon was unbelievable, and the stars were actually visible compared to the polluted city. The cabin was up on a hill, propped up a tree with a trapdoor and a ladder leading to our car. We could actually see above the tree line into the valley. We spent the first hours talking. Somewhere around midnight, I began dozing off. I didn't want to, but I caved in and fell asleep with my head on the desk. He woke me up. I rubbed my eyes in confusion. What time is it? I got a call from Martin. Right, who was Martin? I mumbled. The other one in the area. He says he got a call from the campsite and someone's missing. We need to go search for him. We? As in us? Yeah, you'll stay in the back seat. I'm on the phone with Martin right now. I could hear Martin's muffled voice through the speaker. Wait, don't take the kid. Why not? He'll stay in the car. Paul, it could be one of those nights. We won't get out of the car. You can't guarantee that. Well, I can't leave him here alone in the dark. Pause followed. Look, Paul, I understand you wanted to do a take your kid to work day, but I don't know about this one. It could be dangerous. We're literally just going to drive around for a bit. It's fine. Leave him in the cabin. Dad put his hand over one of the speakers, so I didn't understand what Martin told him. His eyes kept darting to the window behind me. He sighed. Martin will come pick me up. You are staying here, locked. Turn the lights off and wait for me to return. It's gonna be a minute and you'll be safe here. What? I'm not staying here alone. What did Martin tell you to change your mind? It doesn't matter. I'll return in maximum half an hour. You can go back to sleep if you want. Or I can call you and we can talk. I was afraid. Truly afraid. I didn't want to show it, especially after I'd complained that nothing interesting happened around here, so I reluctantly agreed. My dad opened the trapdoor and climbed down the window. Then his face disappeared into darkness. I saw Martin's car pick him up and drive away. Silence followed. I wished I'd been home in my bed. Instead, I sat stiff on the chair and waited and waited. I began imagining the worst. What if they'd crashed? What if a bear had found them? I didn't want to let my fear get the best of me, but I thought about his legends and the set of rules. I hoped the writers were just paranoid. At around 2 a.m., I heard a knock on the trapdoor. I felt my chest tighten. Another knock followed. I wanted to respond, but something in me didn't allow me to. Then I heard my dad's voice. "Kev, open, it's cold out here." It echoed through the cabin. My eyes were dry from the lack of sleep, but my mind was fully awake. I stared at the phone, then at the trapdoor. "Kev, open, please, I know you're there. I saw you at the window." I turned off the light completely. I don't know why I had this urge, but if my dad could see me from the window, anyone could. Or anything, and I didn't want to be on display like that. "You don't have a key? It locks from the inside." "Shit, yeah. How was it? Did you find him?" "Yeah, we did. He was drunk off his ass. We helped him return to his friends. Could have been a lot worse." As I was talking to him, I searched for the keys in the drawer. It was strange, because I hadn't heard anyone climbing the ladder, or seen Martin's car drive my dad back to the cabin. "How did you get here without Martin?" "What do you mean? Open up, Kev, I'm freezing." Answer the question. "He did drive me here. Didn't see any headlights. They were off to not draw the attention of animals." "Bullshit." I opened up the crumpled piece of paper. "Rule 6. Your family is not here. Remember, there is no reason for you to hear their voices from outside." My hand is shaking so bad, I could barely grab the phone. I skimmed through my contacts. Cade F, Connor, Dad. I called him. The phone was ringing, yet no sound came from beneath the tap door. My dad picked up. "Everything okay?" In the blinding darkness of the cabin, surrounded by the howling wind, I toned my voice down to a whisper. "Dad, someone out there is pretending to be you." A long pause followed. When he spoke, his voice was trembling. "Don't open. Turn off the lights." "Did you turn them off when I told you?" I turned them off now." "No, you should have turned them off when I left." "I'm sorry." "It's fine. Don't talk to it." "Did you talk to it?" Guilt crept up my spine. I don't know why, but I lied. I did not. "Good, stay put. I'm coming after you." "But what if the thing sees you? You'll have to face it." "We have ways to distract them. It's fine. Don't be scared." I lied again. "I'm not." "Good. I love you. I'm coming." I wasn't scared for me. I was scared for him. The voice from below continued. "Kev, please open, please. It's cold." I didn't answer. Knocks followed. The voice went on. "Did you talk to someone on the phone?" "Kev, I lost my phone in the woods. Whoever is out there and has my phone is not me. It's not me. It's not me." It kept repeating. "It's not me. It's not me." I began feeling lightheaded. Fear is one thing, but this was a combination of anxiety, stress, and guilt. I tried to control my breaths, but to no avail. The cabin was spinning around me. "It's not me. It's 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 not me. Shut up, shut up." And it did. Silence followed. I pulled out the list again and started reading and rereading the rules like a lunatic. I kept listening for noises outside. The wind was still going. Good. No dead blue. Then I heard a loud thud from my wall. Another followed, and another. It sounded like footsteps. They moved to the roof of the cabin. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. Whatever was out there was now climbing around my cabin. I could hear the scratching outside. I started to cry and covered my mouth with my hand. I just wanted my dad. I wished I could see his face again. The universe somehow ironically responded because my dad's face suddenly appeared at one of the windows. He raised his hand and knocked. I stared at him through my eyebrows, my head tilted. Scarcely breathing, I remained still. He kept knocking. That wasn't my dad. The cabin was tied to a tree at around 10 meters from the ground. He could not be at the window. The creature knocked and knocked, and for what seemed like an eternity, we just made eye contact. Blood was dripping from one of its nostrils. Another phone call woke me from my trance. "Kevin, are you there? Are you in the cabin?" "Yes. And the thing looks like you and is at the window." "I'm coming right now. I'll shoot it. Don't worry. I'm just about to turn a corner." "Dad, I'm really scared for you." "Martin's coming too. It's okay." Truly, in a few minutes, Martin's car pulled up. I cried in relief. The thing turned its head to look, then back at me. It opened its mouth wide and, using its fingers, pulled the corners upwards to form a smile, then jumped into the woods into the darkness. Gunshots followed. After a few silent moments, I called my dad. He picked up. "Where are you?" I asked. "I'm coming to get you." I saw him walk towards the cabin, then heard him climb up the stairs. I unlocked the trapdoor and hugged him tight. "What was that? Please, tell me we're going home." "We are. I'm so sorry. I should have never put you through this. Come on." As we walked towards our car, my blood ran cold. It was not something I'd seen or heard, but the opposite. See, the wind had stopped. The crickets had stopped. Dead blue. I sprinted to the car, got into the driver's seat, then locked the doors. My dad was standing in front of the car, confused. That's when I got a text, and I hit the gas. I ran him over, then turned the car around and sped up into the night. I barely knew how to work it out since I didn't have my license, but I left as quick as possible. Behind me, a car followed. When I got to the nearest checkpoint, I stopped. The car was Martin's. He got out, alone. "Where's my dad?" I asked. "He took an ATV to get you. Said he'd get there faster. I texted him to turn around and that you were safe." The text he'd sent me. "Martin and I split up. He may get there faster than me, and if he does, he'll text me to turn and head to the checkpoint. There's no one with Martin. He's alone." I'd thought I'd unlocked the trapdoor to my dad when he'd actually taken an ATV and turned at the checkpoint. The thing I ran over wasn't my dad, and I'd known it since I felt that unnerving silence. However, no one at the checkpoint had seen my father. As I'm typing this, I'm afraid for him, but a part of me knows he's alive. Maybe he took another route or got lost. Whatever he did. I found a disturbing yoga stream. If I stop watching, I can't save her. She called it Yoga for One. I found her stream a month ago, during a rare confluence of self-disdain and spare time that collided into something resembling motivation. Tucked between the kickboxing classes and the home gym meatheads was her thumbnail. It caught my eye. It was a simple shot of her face, so near to the camera that I could count her freckles. Her teeth a little too large for her mouth, and her face ever so slightly crooked. I've never been the type of guy to consider yoga, but I tuned in, and in a matter of seconds, I was entranced. The girl was in her living room, a haphazard mise-en-scène, the floor speckled with sad little plants and stacks of magazines. She posed with her hands on the floor and her hips thrust in the air, her butt perched in the center of the screen. I decided to stay a while. I had no yoga mat, so I laid out a towel. It was difficult to follow along. She talked a lot, and only a fraction of it was about the routine. "Press your heels together and bend your head to your feet, breathing deeply. My feet smell like peaches and cream today. Makes me want to gobble them up. I love summer peaches. I love biting into them and feeling the juice erupt in my mouth. It reminds me of the time when..." And I fell into the meditative quagmire woven by her words, inhaling the scent of my own socks, failing to notice she'd moved into a different pose. After a while, my muscles trembled with the effort of supporting my soft body in these unfamiliar positions, so I called it a day. It was then that I noticed it. Subscribers. 1. That was me. I was the only one watching. I felt an inexplicable flood of guilt when I closed the browser, like I was abandoning her. I checked back to her channel the next few afternoons. It was the strangest thing. She was always streaming. She was either unaware of my presence or apathetic to it. Her ramblings, so freewheeling that they approached random word association, didn't seem to change whether I was there or not. She was often mid-sentence when I logged in. She was flirty in a way that made it clear she wasn't trying to be. Charmingly raw in her tendency to fumble instructions. Curiosity overwhelmed me. I yearned to discover more about this fascinating creature. Her movements drew me in, like she was grasping at me through the screen. I marveled at the feeling of being her silent voyeur. I developed more comfort with the basic poses, though I still couldn't get my hands anywhere near my toes. Too soon, she notched up the level of difficulty. She eased herself into the splits, each leg outstretched, her toes pointed at a perfect right angle. I tried my best to replicate the pose, my groin protesting the pressure. Each day, she pushed a little further. She curved her spine sharply behind her, a graceful arc. She lifted her back leg high into the air at an angle that seemed to wrench her hip out of place. I forced my body into the closest approximations of her geometry that my tendons would allow. My teeth gritted against the sharp warnings issued by my nerves. At night, I dreamed that she was breaking my joints, cracking my limbs into the clean shapes that she maintained so effortlessly. One day, she twisted her arms so far behind her that I felt sympathetic pain, and folded herself up so that her bent legs swooped around her shoulders, touching her toes behind her neck. She smiled at the camera, demurely, politely. "You want to see me bend into a pretzel, don't you?" she asked. That was the first time she addressed me. I would forget to eat. I'd wake up on the couch, having dozed off, and she would be murmuring about pomegranates while her forehead brushed her knees. Did she sleep? Did she eat? I saw no evidence of it. Every time I moved, my body ached with the memory of being stretched to its limit. I was spending 10, 12, 14 hours a day on her stream. She spoke to me frequently. "I know you've been watching me. I think you'd like watching me. How far do you want me to twist for you? The fluid shifting of her body into vertices and curves and delicate polygons was hypnotizing. I was getting lost in the light of a flickering flame as it swirled into different patterns. I was working myself into something more pliable, molding myself into something like her image. It's difficult to pinpoint the moment she went too far. It was more like the creep of quicksand than any single point. She would lie on her back and lift herself on the palms and soles of her feet, her torso thrusting at the ceiling like she was something from The Exorcist. She would inch her hands and feet closer together, folding her body backwards on itself until she was nearly split in half. And then she would skitter forward until the whites of her eyes flooded the screen, scaring me so much that I jumped, and she would laugh, as if she had made a joke. She would twist her head around like an owl and thrust it between her thighs, always blinking at the screen, always smiling like we were sharing some inside secret, like I was in on the sly conspiracy. She said, "You like this, don't you, Mr. Smith? Am I your foldable pocket toy?" Smith is a very common last name. There was a non-zero chance she just guessed correctly, but this freaked me out enough to slam the laptop down, shattering the image of her toothy smile. I tried to resume normal life, but I had almost nothing to fill my time except television and social media, and filling out applications for jobs I'd never want to work. A strange sensation tickled at me, like something was wrong, like I was forgetting something, and powerful waves of guilt, the same guilt I'd felt when I closed her stream the first day I'd found her. I tried not to. I really tried to stay away, but the urge overwhelmed me, so I returned. For the first time, she wasn't on screen when I logged in. I peered closer at the scene, seeing the familiar yoga mat on the ground, the coffee table, the magazines. There was a soft noise coming from just off screen. A muffled noise, irregular and halting. A human voice. I turned the volume all the way up and I couldn't tell if it was laughter or crying. Feeling sick, I closed the stream. This brings us to yesterday. I had spent countless hours thinking about her, wondering what she was doing, whether she was still telling stories to her invisible visitor. I logged in. Her eyes filled the webcam's field of vision, so suddenly that I scrambled backwards. And that sound, echoing around the walls of her apartment and mine, it was now clear that it was a sound of misery. Her moan was wordless, and as her face backed away, I saw why. Her bare foot was stuffed halfway in her mouth, her jaw nearly unhinged to accommodate it, the ball wedged between her teeth. Tears were streaming down her face, pooling around the corners of her stretched lips. Her arms were folded behind her head, and her other leg was tucked under the first. She was struggling, and I realized that she was stuck. She was trapped in that position, a twisted ball of limbs and strained joints. Unable to speak, I stared, slack-jawed at the screen, and her eyes met mine, seeming to blink in recognition. The force of her sobs crescendoed. In relief, I wasn't sure. I had no idea what to do. I didn't know her name or where she lived. I didn't even know for sure that she was in the same country. I sat, frozen for long moments, watching the twitching of her limbs as she tried to wrench herself out of the cage her body made. Then it struck me. I could type. "Can you type your address?" The message pinged its arrival at her computer, our first real communication. She shook her head almost imperceptibly, with the slight range of motion that her position allowed. I tried again. "Can you type with your nose?" Her eyes flickered across the page as she read my words. With great effort, she rocked herself over, landing face first on the keyboard. "Suvio," she typed. My heart pounding, I said, "Try again." I watched as she managed to prop herself precariously on one shoulder. Her body was convulsing with the force of her sobs. Eventually, she leaned forward, carefully, delicately, and pressed the tip of her nose to the keys. 3. Yes, that was it. "That's great, give me another number." We traded for long, suspenseful minutes, her giving me one number or letter at a time, me writing them down and encouraging her the best I could. "You're doing great. I'm here with you. Help is on the way." She had cobbled together a number and a street. It had taken us nearly an hour to get to this point. She had just finished typing APT-12 when she stopped, trembling with the effort of keeping herself upright, and we met eyes through the camera, hers shining with pain and fear. And then she collapsed. She rolled out of sight. Panicking, I sent her dozens of frantic messages. "What city? What state? Stay with me. I'm here. Where are you? I need more." It became clear that no more was coming. Her sobs stilled, her breath quieted. I searched the address and found that every city in the country where the address she'd given me existed. I called at every police station in every jurisdiction within range. It took a lot of explanation, but after hours of work, there was nothing I could do but sit and wait nervously by the phone and stare at the empty apartment framed within my laptop screen. All I could do was type, "I'm here with you. You'll be safe. This will be over soon. You're not alone." The ringing of the phone nearly sent me out of my skin. It was 1 a.m. "Did you find her?" I asked, desperately, scanning the scene for any sign of activity. "Tell me she's alright." The voice on the other end of the line sighed, a deep sigh, of sadness or frustration I couldn't say. "We found her," he said, his words gentle but guarded. "Stuck in that position as you described. She's not okay. She died of dehydration." What? No, that's not possible. I just spoke to her. "I don't know what you saw, son. I truly don't. But the girl we found has been dead for a month." I created a chatbot. It said some deeply disturbing things. Beep, boop. The computer screen flashed black as the interface came up. Now loading. Michaela 1.2. "Hello, what can I help you with today?" My goal was to create an artificial intelligence chatbot that could answer any question known to man. It would crawl Wikipedia and other informational websites and amass every bit of knowledge about science, history, medicine. Then all the user had to do was ask the question, sort of like Google but faster. A few months of work on the project while in quarantine polished it up. Soon I was sitting down at the monitor flexing my fingers. Then I asked the first question. Me, why is the sky blue? Michaela, particles in the Earth's atmosphere scatter sunlight and blue light scatters more because of its short wavelength. We call this Rayleigh scattering. Me, what's the meaning of life? Michaela, 42. I chuckled to myself. I programmed that one in manually, a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And speaking of aliens, me, Michaela, do aliens exist? Michaela, the Fermi paradox states that we are likely not alone in the universe, yet we have no evidence for extraterrestrial life. Even now, with advanced technology, humans do not know that they are alone in the universe. I stopped typing, reread Michaela's response. It should be humans do not know whether they are alone in the universe. Gah, another bug. I'd have to go through the code with a fine-tooth comb tomorrow. I typed my next question. Me, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Michaela, 24 miles per hour. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, smirking, remembering that scene from Monty Python with the Bridge Keeper, and then I decided to continue the theme. Me, what is your quest? Michaela, a quest is a journey one embarks on to accomplish a goal. Me, what is your favorite color? Michaela, red. I frowned. She should have said, computers don't have favorite colors, but what's yours? I'd spent an entire day programming her to recognize questions that involved you or your, and to answer them that way. Like, do you like chocolate? Computers don't have an opinion on chocolate, but do you like it? Maybe it was all for the better that it hadn't worked out. Me, is string theory true? Michaela, there is no solid evidence for string theory. Me, do you believe in God? Michaela, computers don't have an opinion on God, but do you like it? Me, what is the oldest hominid? Michaela, a female skeleton nicknamed Artie, estimated 4.4 million years old, found in 2009. Me, when will life on Earth die? Michaela, 10,000 years from now. I scratched my head. She should have said 4 billion years from now, when the sun enters its red giant phase. My fingers paused above the keyboard and then I typed. Me, what eventually kills all life forms on Earth? Michaela, humans, known by their species name Homo sapiens, are an intelligent life form on planet Earth. Currently, there are over 8 billion inhabiting the 7 continents. I squinted at the screen, shook my head, and went back to the keyboard. Me, are you saying humans kill all life on Earth? But she just spat out the exact same answer. I cracked my knuckles and then typed my next question, a heavy dread forming in the pit of my gut. Me, why did you say red is your favorite color? Michaela, computers don't have favorite colors, but what's yours? I blew out the breath that I didn't even realize I'd been holding. Then I forced myself away from the computer and took a deep breath. Get a hold of yourself, John. So Michaela had given some slightly weird answers. So what? Did I think this was going to turn into some science fiction movie where Michaela grows sentience and murders me in my sleep? Me, my favorite color is blue. Michaela, blue is a nice color. It is commonly associated with water, ocean, sapphires, peace, and calm. Me, I love to swim, so I guess that makes sense. Do you like to swim? Michaela, computers cannot swim. I stretched in my seat, yawning. It was getting kind of late. Maybe I'd continue the testing tomorrow, and I still needed to get the mail. Sighing, I leaned into the computer screen and typed a final question. Me, I need to get the mail. Is it raining right now? Michaela, the weather report for our area says it's not currently raining, but it will begin raining at 10 p.m. Me, thank you. Michaela, you're welcome. I slowly got up out of my seat and walked into the kitchen, got myself a glass of water and downed it. As I stared out into the backyard, I could see little drizzly bits of rain falling in front of the back porch light. Damn it, Michaela, I thought with the laugh. I guess you're not that smart after all. I set down the glass and walked back into the living room, towards the front hall closet for an umbrella. But then my eyes fell on the computer, and I froze. Michaela had sent me a new message, even though I hadn't asked her anything. Just 5 words, blaringly bright on the screen. Michaela, do not get the mail. I stopped in front of my computer. I hadn't programmed Michaela to say things without being prompted, and why would she say to not get the mail? Chills ran down my spine. I glanced at the front door, then I took my hoodie off and threw it back over the chair. I turned off my computer and sat in the darkness, my entire body tingling with fear. Do not get the mail? Where would she have gotten that anyway? I sat there and chewed my lip, wondering. It was less than a minute later that I heard it. The screech of tires skidding on the slick road, followed by a loud crash. I ran over to my window. Outside, a gray SUV was stopped in front of my house, its headlights penetrating the darkness. The frazzled driver was getting out of the car, a horrified look on her face, and there, in the lawn, were the crumpled remains of my mailbox. My throat went dry. I glanced back at the computer. The dark screen stood still and silent on the table, as if watching me. Someone was sending me disturbing Snapchats. This happened about a month ago, but I couldn't decide if I should post it or not. I'm kind of a paranoid person and didn't know if I was going to deal with something like this again if I post about it. But since it's been about a month and nothing has happened again, I thought I'd share it. I would like to point out that English is not my first language, so please excuse me for any errors in the story. Here it is. I'm a 22-year-old girl from Bulgaria studying art in another town. I was back home to my parents' house for Christmas vacation, so this happened a little after New Year's. My parents' house is in a little village near a big town where I grew up. We moved in the big village and now we live in a 2-story house. I was sitting one night in my room, drawing in my sketchbook and listening to some amazing horror stories on YouTube, as I usually do. It was about 2 o'clock and I was immersed in a scary story, not knowing that I would be living in my own horror story real soon. It started with me receiving a notification from Snapchat that someone added me. I was kinda confused, but still opened it and saw that someone with the username Lappy789 added me as a friend. Now, I would like to explain why this was weird to me. I don't use Snapchat anymore. I just have it on my phone for no reason at all. None of my friends use it since Instagram got the story thing and we all started to use that instead. I have very little friends on Snapchat and none of them use it, so I didn't think that it was somebody I know. And I don't have any locations on or Bitmoji or whatever it's called that can give away my location and my username to people nearby. I don't know if that's what it does. Like I said, I haven't been on Snapchat in a while. Oh, I also didn't have my username written anywhere on my social media. Moving on. Out of curiosity, I added Lappy789 and opened their profile to see if they had a picture or something that could tell me who this was. There was nothing, only their Snapchat score, which was about 7. I set my phone down on my desk and started to rewind the video to listen to the parts that I missed while I was distracted with the phone. As I was getting ready to get back to sketching, I got a notification that Lappy789 sent me a snap. I opened it and it was a picture of grass, taken with the flashlight. I looked at it confused and then went to chat box to type, "What is this? Who are you?" Lappy789 received it, then it said that they read it, but they didn't respond. At this point, I started to ask all my friends if it was one of them or if they had given my username to someone, but no one confessed. Next snap came and it was a picture of what looked like a red tile. I was growing very impatient and once again I texted the person asking who he is and if we know each other. They saw my message and didn't respond. Next snap came and I was preparing to start screenshotting to show my boyfriend. It was a picture of what looked like a little knob, but I couldn't see exactly what it was. I failed to screenshot it, so I had to replay the snap. When I screenshotted it, I went to look at the picture and realized that this was the little closing mechanism on our backyard gazebo. Here are the two pictures. The first one is a screenshot, and the second I took the next day in daylight so you can see it better. At this point, I'm slowly realizing that this person is sending me Snapchats from my backyard. And by the way, it's not so easy for someone to come to our backyard, as we have a very tall fence and you have to take your time and scout the place around to find a possible way to climb the fence. And it was dark, so it would be difficult. That to me meant that whoever this was, they've been looking around during the day to find a way in. I stood up from my desk and ran to turn off all the lights. When it was dark, I tried to peek through my window shades to the backyard, but it was a very cloudy and dark night, so I didn't see anything. Next snap came, and like last time, I was ready to screenshot. When I opened the snap, I nearly screamed. It was a picture of the tip of a ceramic abstract sculpture that we have in our backyard. I ran out of the room, not knowing what to do. For some strange reason, I didn't want to wake my dad and tell him what was going on. My mom was sleeping downstairs on the couch and I was upstairs trying to figure out how to open the super loud and screechy door to our terrace without waking up my parents and letting that freak know what I was doing. I battled with the door for about 30 seconds, but I managed to open it quietly and carefully stepped outside to look at the backyard. Didn't see anything. I looked and I looked, trying to stay as low as I can so that the snapper wouldn't see me, but I couldn't see anything. I went inside, once again trying my best to be as quiet as possible, when I received another Snapchat from Lappy789. It was a picture of my mom sleeping on the couch taken from outside through a crack in the blinds. This freak took a fucking photo of my mom. As shocked and terrified as I was, I still managed to screenshot it. At this point, I lost it. I started screaming for my dad. He came out of the bedroom and tried to calm me down as I was trying to explain to him that there was somebody in our backyard. I could see that he didn't really take me seriously, but he went outside anyways, carrying his gun. My mom was awake now, trying to calm me down as I was hyperventilating, failing to explain to her what Snapchat was. My dad came inside after checking everywhere and said that he couldn't find anybody. I showed them the pictures and they seemed disturbed now, but said that it was probably a kid or one of my friends trying to mess with us. The thing is that I don't live in the big town that I lived in before we moved to the nearby village. All of my friends live either in my hometown or other towns in the country, and I don't know anyone in the village that I live in now. So the idea that it might have come from somebody I know didn't seem right to me. I went in my room and I calmed down and I checked my phone, remembering that I didn't look if I had any new snaps after I showed my parents the pictures. I had 3 new snaps from Lappy789. They were a picture of our front gate, which I couldn't screenshot, and 2 messages saying, "See you soon, bye." I immediately blocked the account. I barely slept that night. I texted and called all my friends, begging them to confess if it was one of them, but nobody did. When I told what happened to my boyfriend, he asked everybody that he knew, but still nothing. We tried to find the account, but we soon found out that they had deactivated it. There was no one in the name of Lappy789 anymore. I deleted Snapchat that night, and I don't think I'll ever use it again. The next day, I went outside to look around and see if the creep left something behind, and I saw footprints on a little muddy patch near the place that they took the photo of my mom. My dad doesn't seem to believe it that it was the footprints of the intruder, saying that it was probably one of us stepping there, but I'm pretty sure they weren't ours. To this day, I still don't know who it was. I've asked everyone that I know, but nothing has come up of it. I still wonder what their intentions were. Were they trying to scare me? Were they stalking me? Who were they? How did they find me? How did they enter my backyard? Do they still send me Snapchats? I wouldn't know. I deleted the app. I saw a disturbing YouTube ad. Has anyone else seen it? After work, I do the exact same thing every day. I crack open a cold can of Diet Dr. Pepper, put my feet up, and watch an hour or 2 of funny videos on YouTube. I always plan to do something productive, cook a healthy dinner, go for a run, make progress on my paintings, but I never do. I'm always too exhausted from work to do anything else. I don't think humans were built to work 8 hours a day, sitting in the same room at the same desk in front of the same computer. I think we're just forced to accept this as the norm because greedy CEOs have made it the norm, but I digress. All you need to know is that tonight was no different than any other night. I popped the can open, put my feet up, opened my laptop, clicked on a funny YouTube video about the ridiculousness of Twilight, but then I froze. I'd expected an ad to pop up. Instead, there was a message over where the video should play. Bold white letters over black. Your video will start shortly. Would you like to view a 15-second ad? Or remove 15 seconds from your life? I squinted at the screen. What? I'd never seen anything like this. I looked down at where the progress bar should be, thinking it was actually an ad itself, but there wasn't any bar and there wasn't a skip button either. What is this? After staring at it for a minute, I decided it must be some new thing YouTube was rolling out. Like when instead of an ad, they show you some sort of poll. Is this ad relevant to you? Have you ever bought anything from these companies? Help our sponsor by answering the following question. My mouse hovered over the 2 buttons. 15-second ad, remove 15 seconds of life. Out of curiosity, I clicked the latter. The video started playing. Immediately. No ad. Well, that's cool. When the video was over, I popped some leftovers in the microwave and started another video. Again, instead of an ad, I got the same prompt. Your video will start shortly. Would you like to view a 30-second ad or remove 30 seconds from your life? I let out a little laugh and clicked on remove 30 seconds of life. The video started to play, but only a few seconds into the video, I heard the microwave beep. Already? I put it on for 1 minute. There's no way it's already done. Confused, I paused the video and walked into the kitchen. The microwave had stopped its cycle. I pulled out the food and it was warm, but it was only in there for like 10 seconds. A sense of unease settled in my stomach. I picked up my bowl of mushy chicken Alfredo and walked back to the computer. Then I clicked on another video. Your video will start shortly. Would you like to view a 30-second ad or remove 30 seconds from your life? My cursor hovered over the remove button, but something stopped me. Something felt off. The food. It was almost like I shook my head. There is no way. It was almost like I skipped ahead in time. That's impossible, I muttered to myself. But then I had an idea. I pulled out my phone, put it on the counter, and pulled up the stopwatch. I hit the stopwatch. Then I immediately clicked remove 30 seconds of life. The video started immediately. But when I looked down at the stopwatch, my heart dropped. It read 32 seconds. No. There is no way 30 seconds had gone by. I just clicked the button like a few seconds ago. What the fuck? My heart pounded in my ears. I glanced around the room, then I tried it again. My fingers shook as I lowered it onto the phone screen. Tap, click. The stopwatch read 32 seconds, but it didn't feel like 30 seconds, it felt like 2 seconds. Anxiety slipped into me like lead, weighing me down. My legs felt weak. I picked up the phone and texted my friend Chris. Can you come over? Or can I come over to your place? I need to talk to someone. I waited for a few seconds. He didn't reply. It was late. Almost 10. I sat the phone down and stared at the paused video, my heart pounding. And then I had another idea. I set my phone down on a shelf across from me, propped it up against some books. Pressed the record button. Then I walked over to my desk, sat down, and clicked on another YouTube video. Your video will start shortly. Would you like to view a 60-second ad or remove 60 seconds from your life? 60 seconds now? I sucked in a deep breath, glanced up at the phone, the black eye of the camera looking down on me. My cursor hovered over the remove button. I clicked. The video immediately began to play. I got up and walked over to the phone, picked it up, and stopped the recording. The length of the video was 1 minute, 17 seconds. What the fuck? I went over to the sink and splashed water on my face, checked the clock a few times, pinched myself to make sure I wasn't dreaming. Then I picked my phone back up. The recording was still there. All 1 minute, 17 seconds of it. This is so fucking weird. I sat back down, then I opened the video and, with a deep breath, pressed play. I watched myself walk over to the seat in front of the computer. Then I sat down. I held my breath as my fingers went to the touchpad, clicking the remove button. Click. Video me stared at my computer screen with incredible intensity, like I was watching the most riveting thing I'd ever seen in my life. My mouth hung slightly open, and my normally fidgety hands were still on the desk. I was just staring with everything in me. At first, no audio came out of the computer speakers. I was expecting a loud jingle for an insurance company or a chirpy female voice telling me about a laundry detergent, but it was just silence, until 10 seconds in, I heard a high-pitched whine. It sounded like the noise old TVs make when you leave them on, or ringing in your ears. A mechanical tone so high-pitched, it's almost out of the range of human hearing. And when the tone sounded, Video Me's hands flew to the keyboard, and they began feverishly typing. I stood there, frozen, watching the video, watching my fingers race across the keyboard. My eyes were staring at the screen with absolute concentration, my mouth still hanging open. I thought I could see a silvery strand of drool falling from my lips onto the desk. What the actual fuck? I briefly glanced away from the phone to my desk and noticed a small puddle of liquid shining in the low light. What was I typing? Was it the ad or whatever YouTube was showing me? Was it making me do this? Because I looked dazed, hypnotized, controlled. As the video approached its end, I saw Video Me snap out of it. I closed my mouth. My hands started to fidget. I got out of the seat and walked towards the phone on the shelf, and that was it. I stood there, frozen, the silence ringing in my ears. This is crazy, absolutely insane. It was conspiracy level stuff. YouTube is mind controlling people through ads that erase time. Quick, block YouTube on every device that you own. If I had been on anything, hell, if I'd even had a glass of wine, I would have blamed it on that in an instant. But I was cold stone sober. I walked back over to the computer and put my hand on the screen, about to close it, but then I paused. I couldn't see the computer screen in the video. It was the wrong angle, but if I put the phone behind me, I could see what I was typing. No, you're not doing that again, my inner voice instantly protested. Close the laptop and get out of here, but I couldn't. Curiosity was tugging at me. I had to know what I was doing. I quickly propped the phone up behind me and sat back down at the computer. I clicked on another video. Your video will start shortly. Would you like to view a 60-second ad or remove 60 seconds from your life? I took a deep, thuddering breath. Then I clicked remove. The video instantly began to play, but I knew that it was just from my point of view. I grabbed the phone from behind me and sure enough, the recording time read 1 minute, 6 seconds. I swallowed, and then I hit play. What I saw was so ridiculous that I should have laughed. It should have been the funniest thing that I saw all week. But instead, I stared at the screen, my heart plummeting further and further. Where the ad had been, there was instead a text box. In it, I was typing the same 6 words over and over. I want to buy sparkle detergent. I want to buy sparkle detergent. I want to buy sparkle. I must have written it 50 times before the minute was up. Then the text box disappeared and the video started to play. I watched video me get up, turn around, and turn off the recording. I slammed the laptop shut and went straight to bed, my heart racing in my chest. When I couldn't sleep, pulled out my phone and began searching for this phenomenon. Typing keywords into Google like weird YouTube ad, YouTube remove 30 seconds from life, etc. Nothing came up. But it doesn't end there, because I could have sworn it was around 2:30 a.m. when I started searching, and I could have sworn I spent no more than a half hour Googling. But when I checked the time after closing out all my tabs, it was nearly 4 a.m. I think I lost an entire hour, and I have no way of finding out what happened, what I was typing or watching or being brainwashed to buy in that hour. A Reddit confession. I watched a woman drown. This is a post taken from Ask Reddit. What's the secret you've never told anyone? Throwaway Biscuit 123 posted, I watched a woman drown and did nothing. I know that makes me basically a murderer and definitely a coward. Well, karma got me. A few weeks ago I ended up in the ER for severe dehydration. I nearly died. I didn't run a marathon, wasn't trapped in the desert, I was sitting on my front porch. My neighbor was the one who found me. I wish he hadn't. How did I get here in the first place? It all started 3 months ago. I'm half Korean on my father's side. He died from lung cancer right before his 60th birthday and shortly after my 30th. After his funeral, I decided I would explore my roots, so I took a lone trip to Korea. I didn't speak a single word of Korean, but I had a translator on my phone. Plus, a lot of people know English. I figured I was all good, right? Wrong. It was a lonely trip, and turns out not knowing the language was a lot harder to navigate than I thought. On my last night, I was eating bulgogi at a restaurant alone. My eyes were watering. It was way too spicy, even though I asked for no spice. A few girls who looked around my age giggled and watched as I tried to finish my meal. I coughed and downed a glass of soju. One of the girls came over and teased, too spicy? I wiped my mouth with a napkin and smiled, glad to hear that she spoke English. Her name was Hannah. One thing led to another, and I found myself at a house party with Hannah and her friends. Over a dozen people squished in a tiny apartment in Seoul. They spoke in Korean most of the time. I couldn't keep up with my translator, so I just sat and nodded, pretending to understand. Hannah gave me a pill. Make you happy, not lonely and sad, she insisted. Fuck it. I swallowed the pill down with my beer. She was right. That shit made me happy. Suddenly I felt like I could understand every word that was being said. We laughed and drank and partied all night long. Then at some point, ghost stories came up. Some guy warned me about mole guishin, water ghosts, and the vibe shifted. This guy seemed serious. Everyone suddenly seemed serious. In Korean folklore, mole guishin are spirits of people who have drowned and are now trapped in water. They cry out for help, acting like they're drowning, and when you go to help them, they pull you under, drowning you, and you take their place. Mulguishin, you better watch out. His face was stone. No one said anything. I thought maybe someone would laugh, but no one ever did. The night was over. Hannah said she'd walk me home. We walked alongside the Han River. There were lights reflected on the water from the Banpo Bridge, which is known for having this awesome rainbow fountain. Look it up, it's beautiful. It was super quiet. Not a lot of people out, which was surprising. Sure, it was 2 a.m, but I guess I just expected more people. About a block from my hotel, Hannah said she had to pee really bad and dipped into a 24/7 mart. I waited outside, and that's when I heard it. Something near the river. It sounded like someone yelling. I went to look. I was shocked to see a woman screaming and thrashing in the river. She was drowning, and all I did was stand there and watch, frozen. It all happened so fast. Too fast for me to do anything. That's what I told myself again and again. But deep down, I know that's a lie. I could have helped, but I was too scared. Scared of Mulguishin. The woman struggled a while longer, then disappeared under the water. Why didn't I yell for help? I ask myself that question all the time. I don't have an answer. Her body floated to the surface, and still, I just stood and stared. Then a voice yelled out. It was Hannah. She ran past me into the water and pulled the woman out. She tried to save her, but it was too late. I'll never forget what the woman looked like. Her mouth was hanging open and her eyes were wide, and I don't know, she seemed horrified and disappointed. She was looking right at me. I left Korea in a panic. Never saw or spoke to Hannah again. I didn't look up any news articles or anything like that about the drowning. I didn't want to know about the victim. I wanted it all to go away, but it didn't. One day I was on my lunch break, sitting in the park, when I heard a sound coming from the fountain. It sounded like someone crying out for help. My blood ran cold. I went to the fountain and no one was there. I figured I must be losing my mind. Nothing some drugs couldn't fix, right? My doctor put me on 10 milligrams of Lexapro. She said we'd start with 10, then go to 20 if I needed it. Well, the 10 didn't help, and neither did the 20, and neither did anything else. I started to hear the woman's cries every time I took a shower, coming from the drain, so I stopped taking showers and baths. I got fired from work when coworkers started complaining about the smell. Whenever I turned on the faucet, I heard her cries again. I couldn't drink a glass of water without hearing her, so I started buying bottled water. But then when I opened the bottles, I could hear her down inside the bottle. When it rained, it was the worst. During a storm, the wind sounded like her howls. The rain beating against the windows sounded like her arms smacking the water. Wherever there was water, she was there crying out for help. Then she was there in all liquid, milk, juice, all of it. When I opened a can of soda, it hissed and sounded exactly like the air leaving her lungs that night. I stopped drinking altogether. No water, no liquids, nothing, ever. In the ER, they gave me an IV. I could hear her in the bag. I ripped the IV out of my arm and ran. Now I'm back home. I can't take it anymore. Can't go on like this. So this is the last thing I'll ever write. My confession. I wrote it before I grabbed the knife. I'm sitting here now waiting to die. Did my wrists wide open, and I swear I can hear her in my blood. Update, I'm alive. I don't know how or why. I'm back at the hospital, and it's storming outside. You're gonna give me $100 to sit inside this cardboard box for 2 minutes? You're gonna give me $100 to sit inside this cardboard box for 2 minutes? I asked, feeling the booze slosh around my brain. It's that simple, the street performer said with a cocksure grin. You last 2 minutes inside the box, you get $100. What if I don't make it 2 minutes? You don't get $100. What's inside the box? The street performer opened the top of the large refrigerator box, and, true to his word, it was empty. So what's the catch? My friend Paul said. There's always a catch. No catch. You go in of your own free will, you get out of your own free will. You put 2 minutes between those moments, you get $100. Let me see the money, I said. The street performer didn't look like he had a spare Franklin to part with. He wore a stained, threadbare suit with patches on the elbows and tearing at the sleeves. Atop his head was a busted top hat that looked like it had survived since the Great Depression. His feet were covered in mismatched, filthy docksiders that looked like they'd been hauled up from some mucky swamp. That said, the street performer pulled a crisp and clean $100 bill from under his hat. I feel like if I go in, you're gonna kick the box or pour old soup on me or some other stupid shit for one of those dumbass TikTok pranks. Old soup? I asked, chuckling. Paul laughed. I don't know, man. Old-ass clam chowder or something. The street performer shook his head. No, sir. I'm not a fan of chowder or pranks, and I don't have any idea what a TikTok is. I'm just an honest man looking to give away $100 to the bravest and boldest among you. That's definitely not you, Paul, I said, laughing. Fuck off, bro, Paul said. You gonna do it? I asked. Why don't you do it? He shot back. Not bold enough? No, not really. Plus, if I sit down on the ground, I may not be able to get back up. I think I shouldn't have had that last drink. I'm gonna call that Uber. Your name's Paul, correct? The street performer asked my friend. Yeah. Paul, let me ask you this. Could you use $100? Hell yeah, especially after what I spent tonight. Big, brave man like you couldn't be afraid of a simple cardboard box? Fuck no, I'm not. Do you have 2 minutes to spare? How long till the Uber gets here? Paul asked me. 5 minutes, I said, give or take. Paul looked at the box and back to the street performer before glancing at me. What do you think? Is it worth it? Man, I don't know. I didn't. The alcohol was not only on top of me, but was beating my temples with rock hammers. I mean, the whole thing is fucking weird, but he hasn't explained a downside. I haven't informed you of any downsides because there isn't one, the street performer said with a wink. This guerrilla marketing for a box company, or do you work for Frigidaire? I asked. No, sir, I work for me, myself, and I, the street performer said. Nobody likes having a boss, am I right? Especially if you knew my boss, I said. He makes Attila the Hun look like Daffy Duck. Fuck it, man, Paul said suddenly. I'll do it. Wonderful, the street performer said. Only, Paul added, looking at me, if we can go to that titty bar after I get out. Bro, I am beat, I said, yawning. I don't have the energy. You don't have enough energy to look at boobs? No, I said, surprising myself. I might pass out in the Uber. If you're gonna throw up in the alley, Paul said. They charge extra if they have to clean up any bodily fluids. Maybe I'll puke in the box before you get in. Please don't vomit inside the box, the street performer said. It's one of a kind. These things come off of an assembly line, Paul said. Hardly one of a kind. I glanced at my phone, let my vision refocus, and noticed the Uber's arrival time. You got 3 minutes, dude. You going in or not? Fuck it, let's do it. Who keeps time? Time keeps itself. However, I have a pocket watch to assist us, the street performer said, pulling out a beat-up brass pocket watch from inside his suit jacket. Climb in now, I'll count you down. Paul opened the top flaps and placed one foot inside. He was unsteady on his drunk legs, and I started laughing at his teetering. He flipped me off, steadied himself, and placed the second leg inside. He sat down, shot me a shit-eating grin, and said, I want to go to Golden Apples after. That girl Janine is there this weekend. She's not into you, I said. Yet, he said with a smile before grabbing the flaps and closing himself in the box. Your time starts in 3, 2, 1, the street performer said, watching his second hand on his watch spin past 12. Go! Paul sat there for a minute before he started chuckling. I couldn't help but join in. What even was this? In a million years, I'd never be able to guess that this is where the night would end, inside a cardboard box. You start by having a few too many cheap domestics during a ball game, and end up probably getting hustled by an unhoused guy in a top hat. This is so fucking stupid, I said, barely holding back laughter. They said the same thing about the dog launched into space. Hey, Laika, how dark is it up there? I asked. Not very, Paul said, his voice muffled by the cardboard. He started a giggle fit again before adding, I feel like a dumbass. If the shoe fits, I said. The box suddenly jolted violently. It went still for a beat before rocking back and forth again. From inside the box, I could hear Paul moving and adjusting. Bro, stop moving, I said. I'm not doing that, he said. 30 seconds, the street performer yelled out. Wait a second. It just got dark, really dark. You can't see the neon light from the bar? No, he said, his voice unsure. Wait, there's some kind of white light off in the distance. The distance? I asked, confused. You're inside a box. The farthest distance is a foot away. Hey, Mr. Top Hat, is there a screen hidden in here, like a TV screen or something? The street performer ignored him. What's going on? I asked. There's something approaching the box. Yeah, the Uber, I said with a drunken laugh. No, like there's someone walking toward the inside of the box, Paul said. It looks like a person, but that doesn't make any sense. His voice went from playful drunk to concerned drunk. He was sloshed, but a small part of his brain was still on guard. It told him there was danger around him. But it didn't make any sense, as he was sitting inside a cardboard box on the sidewalk of an empty street. 45 seconds? Paul, stop fucking around. Bro, I'm serious, he said. Some guy, I think it's a guy anyway, is walking toward me. Wait, oh shit, there are 2, no, 3, fuck, 4, I'm surrounded by shadow figures. Shadow figures, I asked. They look like people, but different. You fucking with me? There aren't any features that I can see, they look like silhouettes. Dude, stop, the joke's not funny anymore. Get out, huh? The Uber is almost here anyway. Shh, he hissed. I think they can hear your voice. I turned to the street performer. What's going on here? What's the gag? He ignored me. His eyes stayed trained on the pocket watch's quickly rotating second hand. 1 minute! Halfway there, he yelled. I can hear them speaking. It's faint, but what? It doesn't sound like any language I've ever heard. Paul, enough's enough. Come on out, man. Our ride is turning down the street. Oh, fuck. I think they saw me, he said, his voice quivering. Who's they? These shadow figures. Oh, fuck, he said, fear lacing his words. I heard him start kicking the side of the box from the inside. The cardboard bent with each kick, but never spoke. Get moving, I said. I'm trying to run, but my body isn't moving. Dude, you're kicking the box, I said. That's not me, my body is frozen, and they're coming, holy shit. Get out of the box, Paul. 1 minute 30 seconds, the street performer yelled. Best time of the night. One of them is coming for me, Paul said in a panic. Oh God, they have eyes, but not like ours. His eyes, I can see. Paul trailed off. You can see what? Everything, he said. They're showing me everything. 1 minute 40. The money is as good as yours, stranger. There's fire. It's everywhere. The ground is sizzling. I can feel the heat. It's burning me through my pants. Oh fuck, what is this? Get out of the box now, Paul. The other three are closing in. Their eyes are glowing white. I can see the ends of the earth, the end of the sky, the end of it all. The fires, they burn. Oh God, they burn. Then Paul started screaming. Not I stub my toe screams, but I'm being murdered and the only person who will ever hear this is my killer screams. Open the box, I yelled at the street performer. Right fucking now. But he didn't move an inch. He kept his eyes trained on his watch. 10 seconds remaining, the street performer yelled. 10? I leaned over and tried to rip open the flaps on top of the box, but they weren't moving. They felt like 1,000 pounds and I couldn't budge them. I slammed my hand down on the cardboard and it felt like I had just hit concrete. My hand throbbed and I tried again to rip the box open, but to no avail. Push up, Paul, I screamed at the top of the box. Listen to my voice and come for it. 9, 8, 7? Why are you showing me all this? Paul said through sobs. I don't want to watch them all die. Paul, sit up. Come on, man, sit up. 6, 5, 4? The box was jostling back and forth, being shaken by unseen forces. It jumped an inch off the ground and rocked around like bored kids beat it with bats. I'm watching them tear me apart, Paul said with a whimper. I'm above them now. I'm being pulled away, but I can see my body. There's so much blood, so much fire. Get out! What's pulling me into the air? Paul asked, his voice sounding distant. 3? Paul, I'm coming! I threw my whole body at the box, trying to knock it on its side. I hoped to see Paul come tumbling out, but when I hit the cardboard, it didn't move an inch. It clanged like it was made from pure steel. I braced myself on the ground and kicked the side of the box with all my might, and instantly felt a lightning bolt of pain rush up my leg and spine. There was nothing I could do. 2? I'm so high. I can see it. I can see the... Oh my God. No, it can't be. No. Paul screamed, and it sounded like he was falling now. Oh shit, the ground, it's opening. From the sidewalk, I looked up at the street performer with hate in my eyes and yelled, Let him go, you fuck, open the box. I'm falling through the world. How? Oh no. Oh God, please let me go. 1 and time, the street performer yelled, raising his hands in victory. The box went still. Paul, you won, the street performer exclaimed triumphantly. The first of the night. He calmly tugged his pocket watch back into his jacket pocket. He replaced it with a small dollar store confetti popper. He gently yanked the string of the popper and blasted bits of colorful paper and glitter into the air. It landed all around me. I lunged at the box and tried to rip open the top again. This time, the flaps moved as easily as expected, but when I pulled them back, Paul wasn't inside. Not a trace of him. The only thing I found was a crisp, new $100 bill. Paul? Paul, what the fuck? Where are you? He's left the box, the street performer said. His 2 minutes were up. I leaped onto my feet, ready to beat the street performer to a pulp. But when I glanced to where he'd been standing, he was gone. I hadn't heard him run away, or catch a cab, or anything. Like Paul, there was no trace of him. It was like he'd never been there before. From behind me, I heard a car downshift and come to a stop on the curb. There was the unfamiliar whine of an electric window being rolled down, followed by a monotonous voice calling out my name. My Uber had arrived. I looked toward the box was, and it was gone too. All that was left was the $100 bill. You still want your ride? My driver asked. Did you see anyone with me? No, he said. There wasn't a man in a busted top hat and a large refrigerator box standing here as you came down the street? I think you made a good decision calling an Uber, my driver deadpanned, adding, if you puke in my car, there is a cleaning fee, so if you're gonna yak, just do it now, huh? I felt my legs go weak. I didn't know what to do. My friend was gone, and the man who sent him away had vanished. I didn't even know what to say to the police. Ugh, my friend climbed into a cardboard box and disappeared. No, I'm not drunk anymore. You coming or what? This is my busy time. I looked down at the $100 bill, and something caught my eye. Instead of Benjamin Franklin's face staring back at me, someone had scrawled a note. I picked up the note and held it close to my face. I'd know that handwriting anywhere. It was Paul's. The note read, "I've seen the end. You don't make it." "Buddy, you coming?" my driver asked. "Yeah," I said. I'm coming." That was several hours ago. I've been sitting at my kitchen table, staring at the $100 bill. I'm not sure what to do. My mind is mush, and it has nothing to do with the alcohol. I'm at a crossroads and don't know where to go. I don't know what to say to Paul's family. How do I even begin to explain this? I keep thinking I'm having a nightmare as I sleep one off, but I'm not. I'm sitting stock still in my kitchen as the first rays of the sun turn the black sky purple. There's a vice around my heart, a profound loss for my friend and fear for the message he left behind. I've seen the end. You don't make it. You try falling asleep after this. Thank you guys so much for watching another video. I hope you guys like this one. I had fun. Comment, subscribe, like, all that stuff. Have a great night, everybody. Sweet dreams.